You're listening to the official PlayStation Magazine podcast.
Hello and welcome to the June 2013 official PlayStation Magazine podcast. We're just days away from what should be the biggest trade show of all time, with this year's E3 set to showcase all manner of eyeball-popping PS4 games. In today's episode, we'll be making our predictions for the big one in LA, discussing all four of this month's cover games, and talking GTA 5 until our lips hurt. I'm editor Ben Wilson, and joining me for spicy PS4 talk today are associate editor Leon Hurley.
Hello.
Deputy editor Joel Gregory.
Hi.
Acting news editor Dave Meekwam.
Hello.
And production editor Emma Davis.
Hello.
Hooray, we're back. So we've had a little bit of an absence. We took a month off of podcasting because we were making a beautiful, if I say so myself, new redesign of the mag. So issue 85 on sale the 7th of June, that is this Friday, is all new. Lots of exciting stuff in there. We've redesigned sections like Big Ten, previews and reviews. We've added 2 new sections, Network and Retro Station, and I think we're all quite pleased with it.
Yeah, it's
and
good.
A bit tired.
Yeah, really tired. Everyone's a bit down and
so if you fall asleep halfway through the podcast,
today,
you know why. But hopefully the magazine will prove worth it. I guess the most controversial, if you like, decision we took was to get rid of the disc. The feedback from you guys was that you were using it more as a coaster than a thing to put in your PS3 and play demos. So we've axed that, and we will be giving you bespoke gifts on a month-by-month basis, starting with a 30-day trial of PS Plus and a double-sided Last of Us poster. So yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to it. What's each of your favourite new thing in the mag? Emma, you can go first.
My favourite new thing is Retro Station. I really like the bits like Don't Make Me Play and Classic Game. I think it's nice to sort of look back at the stuff that's gone before. Some of it's in a sort of light-hearted way.
So Don't Make You Play, actually, we should talk about a little bit very quickly, is like a new regular where we make one on the team play a game they've always desperately tried to avoid. So Phil, for the first one, Phil hates Green Day, so we made him play Green Day Rock Band. The second one, Leon, has been playing FIFA, is that right, Leon?
That's right, yep.
What level are you on?
It's the first one. Just keep playing the first one.
Still on
What
tutorial.
happens? You just keep kicking the ball in the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it says, do you want to play this level again? I go, all right.
And I guess next month I'll be playing Skyrim. Dear Lord, how is that going to turn out?
I think we need to give you like a mission or something in Skyrim, or something.
I think just play it for an hour sounds an arduous enough mission.
Yeah, but you'll be like the guy who tests the electric car, who tried to like brake the car and then got caught. You'll just stand in a field and go, "Yep, Skyrim's really boring."
Yeah, but I know it is anyway because I've seen Liz playing it for like a million hours.
Yeah. If you go into it going, "I'm going to make this game play boring," then
Leon, your favourite new section of the mag that doesn't involve Skyrim?
it'll have to be the Don't Make Me Play, because that's pretty much the only bit I've seen so far.
Oh, Leon. Joel?
I quite like the redesigned box outs and reviews because they're less messy and less,
the OPM breakdown.
the OPM breakdown.
I have been using those on the site. They look quite nice.
Yeah, they're good. And I also like the new Hall of Fame, the PS3 Hall of Fame, which we've redesigned and debated heatedly for quite a long time before we put it together. But it's a pretty good top 25 of PS3's history, I think.
Dave?
Well, I was going to say the OPM breakdown.
Get your own.
Breakdown.
Breakdown.
So not to be dull, I'll say...
the PS3 Hall of Fame.
It's been a regular monthly spread feature we used to do, has been redesigned, and it's a lot easier to make now, which makes me happy. Because I no longer have to find one massive image to tie all the other images together. So it looks nicer on the page as well. So
I like the new Big Ten. So basically we've kept the structure that we had before for the Big Ten. Someone's outside the room, like peering in, which is quite scary. She's gone away now. Maybe she likes the Big Ten as well and wanted to tell us. So the structure of the Big Ten is what it was before, but with a few expanded elements. So we brought in a couple of box outs like Gut Reaction, and a new one called By the Numbers. And we've also done a little thing called Info Patches, which is like 3 stop press stories, which actually, when you're making a magazine, is very handy, as we found last month, Dave. Because we had, as we were going to press, they revealed the new Need for Speed Rivals, and they revealed the date that PS4 was going to be revealed, which is obviously happening at E3, and we were able to cram that stuff in, whereas before, it would have been a very tricky task to do that. So we've given ourselves a bit more flexibility, but still, I hope, retained all the things from OPM that you know and love. On the cover of OPM this month, on the redesign issue, on the 4 different covers that we're doing for it, we have a quartet of PS4's finest games. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Watch Dogs, DriveClub, and Call of Duty Ghosts. Let's have a little chat about those. We've been to various places across the globe. Leon, you went to
Santa
Los
Monica,
Angeles. Dave, you went to Paris. Joel, you
I
went to your
my
desk,
desk,
and,
yep.
and made a phone call.
Yep.
To get developer insights, etc. on these games. And they're all bundled together in the new issue as part of the A to Z of PlayStation 4. Let's talk first about Watch Dogs, Dave, because I think it's fair to say that for many this is the most anticipated game coming to PlayStation 4. From what you saw, is it going to justify the hype?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly the most anticipated, just judging by what our readers are saying, because we ran a Facebook poll, I think, about a month ago, and it easily topped that. It was far and above, beyond Killzone, and even CBG, our sister site, did a kind of poll this morning, and Watch Dogs is easily the most anticipated game, not just in PS4, but of any upcoming game from the LA Mega Show. So, yeah, I saw at Paris. Paris.
I'm just talking in Twitter speak now.
And yeah, it looks very, very exciting. It's obviously a very bold new IP. I suppose it really combines disparate elements of many things you've seen in open world games before. So there's like Assassin's Creed style Parker. You've obviously got your like driving elements from GTA and your shooting elements, but the big new feature it's introducing that we've known about for a year since it was debuted at last year's E3 was obviously the hacking and how that might tie in with PS4's multimedia features like the share button and things like that. I spoke to the executive producer at the event, Jonathan Marin, and though he wouldn't be directly drawn on their plans for the share button, they were very, very excited about PS4's like all the multimedia features, and I think it's safe to say that it will definitely use the share functionality, and they went to great lengths to say how much they enjoyed developing for PS4 as well. I think compared to maybe Sony's last two machines, because it isn't stuffed full of proprietary chips or difficult to squeeze games out of, then I think it's just a lot. It makes the development procedure a lot more streamlined. So yeah, I mean the game looks lovely. They really went to great pains to kind of emphasise that the difference between the PS3, and I think a lot of people forget that there is actually a current gen version of Watch Dogs as well. The difference between the PS3 and the PS4 versions, even though they essentially will be the same experience, the way they described it to me was with the added power of PS4, crafting the intangible. And the one example they used for that was the new wind system. And yeah, the new whoopee cushion system. In the feature in the mag, I compared it to like the first time you see the rain in Metal Gear Solid 2's Tanker chapter, which was kind of a watershed moment for PS2, and it almost felt similar seeing these like little patches of leaves really subtly billowing around the streets of Chicago in Watch Dogs, and it just like all these little small graphical elements, it really kind of immerse you in this world. So,
do you remember Bioshock had a wind system for a bit?
It was pitched, wasn't it? 'Cause that was the whole idea, was the buildings would move around, it would all be kind of procedurally generated, and you'd never quite know what was going to happen, and then they took it
What
all
happens
out.
in the PS3 version? They just put like a biodome on it and go, no weather here.
It's like the Truman Show.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny that in the PS4, the very first thing guaranteed for it, better wind.
Better wind.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Joel, you did some Assassin's 4 groundwork.
Yes,
Is that the right
I did.
word to describe it? You spoke to
the game director.
The game director.
Ash, who's a very nice man.
And
Very excited.
From what you've seen of the game, do you think it can right Assassin's 3's wrongs?
Yes, I do. I still don't think, even this one, I don't think is going to be everything they promised us Assassin's Creed 3 would be, but they did
Brilliant.
promise us...
That's a ringing endorsement.
no, but they promised us too much with that, and it was never likely to... Well, we thought for a bit it might deliver, but it didn't. But this one will do the things that one did badly better, so we've got, for starters, we've got a protagonist who looks interesting, which is important. The settings look more varied and a bit more kind of lush and verdant. They're not just dusty streets with two cities which remarkably look exactly the same. And the important thing for me is they've actually revamped the stealth system, which has been not great throughout, but was appalling in Assassin's Creed 3. I mean, there's some missions where you'd have to like eavesdrop on people and it simply wouldn't work, or you'd get to a checkpoint and you get caught in the same place every time, or you'd basically be seen hanging off a building but no one would do anything about it, or it just didn't work. So they've gone back to basics with stealth. So hopefully it will actually now be what an Assassin's Creed game is meant to be, and that links into the other thing which I really wanted was they'll have proper open-ended assassinations, which they haven't really had since the second game, and that's what the Assassin's franchise used to be about. It used to be about here's your target, here's the city, here are your tools, do as you will, which they totally didn't have in the last one. In the last one, if you diverged at all from the way they intended you to play the mission, it would just desynchronize you and fail you, which is rubbish.
Has enough time passed now for you to revisit the experience you had reviewing Assassin's 3?
No.
Which you probably never told our podcast listeners, but they might laugh at. I don't think you will laugh at.
They might laugh at, yeah. So I didn't enjoy Assassin's Creed 3 particularly. I certainly didn't enjoy it when after between 15 and 20 hours my save failed and I had to start again from the beginning.
I was amazed by the patience you managed to keep.
Well, it
while
was
doing
weird.
that.
I actually enjoyed it more the second time through. I'm not quite sure why. I thought it might sour my...
Because you knew what they were expecting you to do,
Yeah,
so you
maybe.
knew which line you had to follow.
Yeah, and
Back
I
in the day-
knew when the horse started floating to just like walk over here.
Just
Back in
find
the
another
day of
horse.
playing Championship Manager on PC, like in the early 2000s, if like I played a match and say won and my save failed, then I could never even go back to that save. I was like,
Oh,
right,
wow.
screw that, I'm
That's
starting again.
brutal.
Yeah, I just didn't have the mental strength.
I didn't
to
have the
cope with it.
luxury with this because I had to
You had
review
to do
it.
it,
Just
I guess,
leave
yeah.
like 6 pages blank in the magazine where I've gone, nah.
Do you think it's good that they've stuck with the pirate theme? I guess that was the most exciting part of 3. So it's the
Yeah,
sensible
well,
way
this
to
is
go.
what they wanted to hammer in when I spoke to them. That this is like they want to make this like the ultimate pirate fantasy game, and being a pirate's cool, you know. I mean, the boat stuff in Assassin's 3 was fine, but it was a little bit samey. Once you'd done 1 or 2 missions, you sort of knew how they all worked when you're on the boat. But this is more kind of an ocean-going experience, like in terms of your plundering and there's underwater sections. You're visiting islands. It's not just get on boat, do mission, go back to land again. They keep talking about seamlessness, and then they keep adding in these caveats. They're like, it's completely seamless, mostly. So it's obviously not going to work, you know, from the whole scale of the map seamlessly. But for the most part, you can basically do everything without loading screens. And like Watch Dogs, there's a PS3 version as well, which, again, they wanted to say was the same. It just doesn't look quite as good. Now, whether that's true or not, I'm not quite sure.
Everyone is saying it though, like COD, which we'll get to in a minute. They said the same thing. Like you'll get the same experience, you just won't look as pretty. Everyone's kind of trying to say the same thing about. I guess because they want people to buy the old versions.
I suppose. It's weird, though. It sort of makes you worry about what people are using the new
Yeah.
PS4 hardware for. If they're just using it to make things look better,
Well,
that's
with Watch
slightly
Dogs,
disappointing.
Like when Meeks was saying about Watch Dogs, they basically they had the PS3 version and they went, well, what else can we do with it? Oh, we can simulate wind.
Pop some wind over
Yeah,
there.
but it's that sort of thing. I think at the moment, I think you'll see a lot of next gen games will basically be kind of current gen with extra flashing lights
extra
on.
wind.
And it will extra wind, yeah.
Yeah.
And it will take
Yeah,
like
well,
a.
it's like when they revealed FIFA 14 at the X-Bone show, like the big feature they revealed for it, as well as additional graphicsosity, was like that you're going to be. Was it like you can avoid contact better?
Yeah, it was
It's
like-
like hang on.
I
There's
don't-
many other things I'd say that sports games need to get right on next gen before they deal with that, such as your like the teammates around you behaving in a human
Yeah,
manner.
AI would be a good starting point.
I
to
don't
be
think we'll
honest.
see anything like properly, truly next gen until sort of maybe the middle of next year, because most of what we'll get really at the beginning will be kind of upscaled current gen tech.
Well,
and
that's the thing. If you're doing a game for both, that's really all you can do, because otherwise you completely shaft the PS3 owners.
Well, it's
so-
interesting that Uncharted are saying about Uncharted, Naughty Dog are going to keep their engine because they don't want to lose it and they can start from a higher level. And if they went back to the drawing board,
Would everyone agree, without being too fanboyish, that the X-Bone XB1 reveal went reasonably well for PlayStation? I think it for now, until E3 gave PS4 the upper hand.
Yeah.
I think it's astonishing that like a week later, people were still trying to clarify what had been said.
Yeah.
Like you could see people tweeting and asking questions, and various executives from Microsoft saying various different things, and you didn't know. Nobody had any kind of clarity on anything really. That had
Yeah,
been
it was
announced.
like an informational cluster fudge, and it was also very light on actual games.
Yeah.
Well, what two new games and a load of stuff you can play already.
Yeah, and then they went, we've got a load of new IPs and exclusives coming, but we're not going to tell you what they are.
And ultimately,
TV.
there is some
TV,
all the
TV,
peripheral
sports,
stuff. I think
TV.
people welcome that, but gamers are first and foremost gamers, and
Yeah.
people want to know about the games.
It's
so-
interesting though, because obviously PlayStation went first and did, I thought, quite a good job with their reveal.
Yeah.
And you'd think Xbox would go, right, we'll try and do better than that. They didn't.
They had time to react. That's the
Yeah.
weird thing.
But now at E3, Microsoft are going first.
Yeah.
So they're really on the back foot at the moment, because if they do, blow the lid on all their exclusives, and PlayStation have probably have the break in case of emergency box of games that they can get out for their press conference as well. So it's shaping up quite nicely for Sony at the moment.
Yeah, certainly, there seems to be a feel-good factor at the moment. I don't think I'm being too fanboyish saying that. People seem to be really. Yeah, maybe the younger generation maybe haven't experienced PlayStation as the iconic brand it was, in the PS1 and PS2 days, and hopefully we're getting back to that. Fingers crossed. We'll talk more about E3 shortly. One of the other games revealed at the Xbox reveal was Call of Duty Ghosts. Leon, you'd actually seen it before that.
Yes, yeah. Went to
what did you make of it? Is it going to be more than just another cookie cutter Call of Duty?
I think it's going to be. To be honest, I think it's going to be another kind of cookie cutter Call of Duty, but they are
end of conversation.
But no, they're doing stuff with the engine. The tech they were showing off is interesting. I mean, they basically did sort of admit in a mumbly kind of way. I interviewed Zach Volker, the animation lead, and he was all very big American, open, wide arms. And as soon as I started talking about the engine,
did he hold you? Is that why you
hold me in your wide arms, my friend?
I think after a couple of days of jet lag in LA, that would have been quite nice. But no, as soon as I started talking about the engine, he kind of crossed his legs and turned away a bit, and essentially kind of admitted it's the same engine, but they've changed it enough that they're calling it a new engine.
Yeah, that seems weird to me.
Well, I think he was trying to explain,
naughty,
like, when you've enhanced it and added enough features and you've changed the kind of experience it delivers. And he said something along the lines of, okay, I guess that qualifies that we've got a new engine now. And it's like, you've sort of got the same one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how much do you have to change?
But what they showed off was interesting. I mean, I saw there's a level they showed underwater, which I don't think anyone else has seen yet. They sort of hinted at it, I think, in the Expo event. But so you're underwater and you're swimming around. It looks like a Discovery Channel kind of documentary. There's fish everywhere, there's coral. The seaweed is like this dense kind of wafting ribbons. It's not like the kind of illusion of plants where they do that kind of MDF flat pack. If you go and look at the top of it, it's two bits crossed together. It was real big lumpy plants like swaying in the sea, the fish sort of swimming up to your goggles. It looks sort of fantastic. And I think that'll be the thing. It will be COD as you sort of understand it, but the stuff they've done with the tech will be bigger and louder, and it will be look more impressive. When there's a set piece, it will be like the biggest set piece you've ever seen.
So far, next gen is being sold on wind and seaweed. It's quite the brave new world we're stepping into here.
But
and
I think,
AI.
but that's
And
the thing.
fish
I think
AI,
Fish
yeah.
AI. Oh, the fish does have it.
Fish has its own AI. But this is the thing. I think we've reached a point now where tech-wise, you can make games look a certain level of pretty. You can do a certain level of animation. So there's not a lot else you can sort of do apart from mess around with kind of prettiness. And it will be the next cycle, I think, where people kind of realise like, we can do this, or
Well,
we
again,
can
this
do
is
that.
another game that's being released on both generations,
Yeah.
isn't it? So
I will be honest though and say that Cod Dog did give me an ex-boner.
Oh.
Who doesn't love Cod Dog?
Not that much.
Emma, do you like Cod Dog?
It's alright.
I'm sick of
It's
Cod
not that
Dog.
cute.
No, it's not cute enough.
If it was like a corgi,
That'd be brilliant.
yeah,
That would
There
be
is that
so
image,
much-
isn't there? There's a little
Yep.
picture of a corgi cod dog.
Yeah, and I
Corgi
saw
cod dog.
on the blog that had that image. They then actually went on to dress up their friend's corgi in a little flak jacket and stuff, and it was the most adorable thing I've seen.
It's going to be like
A week, maybe?
The Last Guardian, though, isn't it? You know that by the end of the game, either the dog's going to die or the handler's going to die, and there's going to be a heartbreaking scene where one kind of like, come on, guys,
Yeah,
don't
the
leave
dog's
me.
like
Don't.
pulling at your
The dog,
flak
yeah, be
jacket, trying to,
nuzzling
like,
him
get you
gently.
back on the helicopter.
Yeah.
There's a Facebook page for that as well. I
Yeah.
found, called something like "The Cod Dog's Gonna Die." We all know it.
Yeah.
Does everyone else follow the Cod Dog on Twitter?
No.
Leon, do you wish there was a Cod Cat? Would that make you happy?
Um,
If you just walk around snarling in the background.
I would say you just sit whining in the corner. Like,
Was your favourite ever TV villain, the Inspector Gadget's? What was his villain called?
I have never ever mentioned Inspector Gadget ever.
No, but I just.
Is this one of these things you just make up for me and then I'm stuck with it forever?
The
Leon
villain in
loves
Inspector
Inspector
Gadget had a
Gadget.
little cat, didn't he?
Yeah,
Favourite
he had a
film
cat,
ever?
but I've never expressed any opinion on the cat. The claw, wasn't it? I've never
The Claw.
expressed any opinion on the claw's cat
You
ever.
love cats.
I have a cat.
He don't even like his own cat.
Yeah, that's true.
We have a tenuous relationship at best.
I think I'm more interested in Leon's cat than Leon is.
Let's get Leon to rate cats out of 10. Post from Pat's cat, Jess.
7,
Panthro.
8.
The Lion King.
Have I seen The Lion King?
Do you think the
Have
Lion
you seen The Lion King?
What?
What's happened here?
If I haven't seen it so long ago, I can't remember.
Is The Lion King your favourite Disney film?
No,
Oh, what is?
I don't know.
Okay. We've gone way tangential. I was trying to get Leon to talk about Ratatouille because it's a film he has many opinions about.
That's Pixar.
We'll
though.
save them. It's still Disney.
I
Disney
count them
Pixar.
as separate things.
Oh, okay, controversial. Let's talk about driving games. I don't know how we get from Disney to driving games, but we're doing it.
Cars.
Cars, yes. That's what I should have thought of that. So, Joel, you're being Phil for the next 5 minutes. Or 3
I need
minutes.
to do the buttons up on my shirt.
Okay.
Oh no, I don't have a top button on this one.
So Phil went to see Drive Club, but alas is not here. He's at home watching Ratatouille and Cars and Monsters Inc. and other Pixar films, maybe. Is Drive Club going to be an even bigger deal than GT6?
See, if I was Phil, I'd say no, because I'm being such a Gran Turismo fanboy. Yeah,
What do you think?
I think it probably will be, actually. I think
It's new.
exactly. It's new. It does look incredible. We're talking a lot about how things look on PS4, but it really does look amazing. And they're not trying to make a PS3 version at the same time. So the only version you're going to get is the one which taken like 5,000 man hours to make every piece of stitching on every bucket seat in every car. And it's sort of fusing it seems to be fusing the things that GT6 does really well, i.e. sort of automotive porn, with the things that the Need for Speed series does well, which is being constantly connected online. So it's kind of going down the best of both worlds. And based on what Phil told me from having spoken to people and, you know, what he's seen of it, it does look really exciting. You know, the raceways and all the courses look beautiful. It's set across the whole globe. They do have an awful lot of cars. The cars can be smashed up, and basically everything you do is centered around this online idea of creating clans with your friends and competing in those clans to, you know, win points and prestige against other people.
It's
which
worth saying as well
everyone
that
loves.
they might not have quite the same reputation as like Polyphony Digital or Cody's or Team Liverpool, RIP, but Evolution make really good racing games.
Yeah.
Like all the Motorstorms are really fun.
Yeah.
Even Apocalypse I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see how they tackle making something slightly more serious and slightly less arcadey. But they obviously love their cars,
Yeah.
and so far they seem to be going about it in a pretty good way. Yeah, and like again, it just looks gorgeous.
All right, so 4 covers this month. I'll plug that again. Of our 4 cover games, which are each of you most excited about? Emma?
Probably Drive Club.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not that bothered about Assassins or Ghosts. And Watch Dogs, I really like the idea of the hacking, but then when it all just, from what I've seen, descends into shootouts and stuff, I sort of lose interest of it.
Does it need more cats?
Everything needs more cats.
Okay. Leon?
Watch Dogs for me.
No reason. It just is.
Well, sort of everything Emma said in reverse, I think.
That's good.
Fair enough.
Less cats. What?
No, I think it's going to be a new GTA sort of style world, but the hacking looks interesting. The social stuff looks interesting. When you're hacking into people's rooms, there's Lars and the Real Doll kind of set up as a guy's stolen a mannequin, and just that interaction with the world and whatever the multiplayer turns out to be, I think is going to be exciting.
Joel?
I'm going to say Watch Dogs, but the thing that I like most about Watch Dogs so far is this thing that we only saw it when it first was revealed, which was I thought the script looked really good and the voice acting looked really good. And they haven't really shown much of that. They've gone back to just showing like the Excito gameplay, which is obviously sort of more appealing en masse, but it did look like they were trying to tackle it in a slightly more intelligent way with things like the voice acting and the writing and stuff. And I think that in an open world game is often overlooked. So if they're paying enough attention to that, I think it could be good.
The setup.
Dave?
Oh,
Sorry,
I
no,
was going
go
to say the setup sounds interesting. Was Dave, wasn't you explaining that the main character he sort of starts off becoming a bit of a paranoid kind of protective person? It
he's
starts off
essentially
with
a-
his flat and then he spreads out.
Yeah, he's like an obsessive vigilante. So he starts off surveilling his family, and then that grows to like surveilling the street, and then the entire neighborhood, and then essentially the whole city. So it's this exponential growth of paranoia.
That's a fascinating kind of setup. That's almost like a modern day superhero kind of origin story.
Well, like Joe, though, what really excites me about it is the scripting, because that level of scripting in the nightclub scene from last year's E3 demo was actually like very good. And I actually asked one of the game producers in Paris about it, and he just said like the main writer who's written the script has worked in like TV for years and years and years. So I actually think that story-wise, we might have something to look forward to. And we've already seen like glimpses of like Elizabeth, like girl with a dragon tattoo character. So I think plot could actually be pretty good.
Is that your most excited? The one you're most excited about as well?
Yes, unless MGS5 comes out in PS4, and then it'll be MGS5.
I need to talk about our cover games.
Oh, okay, I cover games in Watch Dogs.
You can draw MGS on the cover if you want. But it's not my copy.
Maybe I will. And the last card.
I'm going to give, astonishingly, I can't believe I'm doing it, I'm going to give a vote to Assassins, simply because
You're never playing it.
I will, if it is really properly pirate-based, I will play it. I was really excited last E3 by that, or was it year before? That would have been last E3, where they revealed all the pirate stuff. I was like, if they make a whole game out of this, I will love it. And then I remember you reviewing it and going, the first 4 hours, you're just roaming around doing Jack.
Yeah.
and
then
I
it's
was
like 10
instantly
as
out.
well.
So
All my memory of like Assassin's Creed 3 is just walking streets, talking to someone who then tells me to go and find someone else in another street
The
and
amount
talk
of
to
walk
them.
and talks they do, it's
Yeah.
more than in like a Sorkin show. It's
I
ridiculous
think
how many walk
20
and
hours
talks
in,
there
I was
are.
like 18 hours of just walking down a street,
It's
chatting.
so boring, the walk and talks.
So for now, Black Flag gets my vote.
I don't know, it's got to work hard to win me back, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, the mag is on sale with those 4 covers this Friday, June the 7th. Please look out for it. Let us know what you think of it, and hopefully you enjoy it. All right. So another thing we got in the mag this month, along with our A to Z of PS4 feature, featuring the 4 games we mentioned earlier, is 12 pages of Grand Theft Auto 5. Quite a big, exciting new game coming to PS3 later this year. I went to see that at Rockstar HQ, and we're going to have a little chat about that now, because I think, along with all the PS4 games we mentioned, that's one of our most anticipated games of this year. So I think we're all in agreement that Red Dead Redemption is the greatest open world game ever, and I think we even put that in the PS3 Hall of Fame at number 2 or number 3 after
Number 2.
much discussion. Can this one be even better, Joel?
No.
Flat no.
Yep.
Interesting.
No chance.
Why not?
Well, I mean, personally, I think that Red Dead's probably the generation's best game, and I just don't think anything's going to top it at this point. I am probably not the person to back GTA 5, although I can see why people are really excited about it, because I didn't like GTA 4. I'm skeptical. I think they'll make a good game, because they always do, but I'm not sold on things like the character swapping and the RPG light elements of upgrading stats and stuff like that. It doesn't quite chime for me. I think they're going to struggle to maintain a coherent and compelling narrative across all 3 characters for the length of a GTA game, which is 30 plus hours.
Dave, you were the biggest advocate of GTA 4 when we were doing the Hall of Fame, and I think we put it in at 6 in the end, was it?
5 or 6, I think. Yeah.
Do you disagree?
I agree with Joe that Red Dead's the best game of the generation, but saying that GTA 4 is... I don't know if there's a game in PS3 that had that level of impact on me when I was first playing it. I'm probably like the biggest Rockstar fanboy on the team. I'm massively excited about 5. I'm just recently reviewed what could well be contender for best game of the year, and I'm more excited.
You can talk about The Last of Us.
Yeah, okay, so I've just reviewed The Last of Us. Can I say what I gave it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I gave it 10 out of 10. I think it's a sensationally good game. I'm more excited about GTA 5 than I was The Last of Us.
Wow. That's big words.
Oh, Christ.
There's just something about a Rockstar game where it's just, they're so easy to like lose yourself in that like perfect sense of time and place, but it's because the characterization, and I'm not necessarily talking about individual characters, I'm talking about the character of the place that really seeps through from the sense of humour of like the advertising you see in the street, or the radio chat, or the radio stations, or the music, the pick, all just seamlessly and perfectly knits together to create this like completely believable world, even though if it's like full of like essentially caricatures are all fairly exaggerated. There's nothing like just being in a GTA game where like they're always the cities are always beautifully designed, they're always really fun to drive about, and just like listening to all that incidental chatter on the radio and just like getting completely sucked into that world. And for me, there's just nothing like that. So I think adding like the character switching, and like I'm super excited to play Michael. I just love that idea of like a middle-aged kind of burnt out ex-mafia man who's essentially what Tony Soprano as Rockstar see him. So yeah, I can't wait. And I loved San Andreas as well, so it'll be great to see Los Santos like giving that bit of PS3 spit and polish.
It's really interesting with Michael, because I think he's the character that when you played any of the previous GTA games, he's the character you basically built up to, you built your guy into by the time you got to the third island. And now you're going to have there's no third island.
Yeah, there's no
beginning.
rags to riches tale, is there?
And so I think you get like Franklin is that kind of essentially that sort of beginner character. Trevor's like the middle character, and Michael's
They're all built around, I think, getting you started straight away. So you got
Yeah, absolutely.
Michael's the straight away start as a criminal. Franklin
Yeah.
is driver. So he's straight away you get all the car stuff, and Trevor is the plane guy. So you basically skip straight to the third island in a different aspect with every one of the
That's what I was
characters.
getting to, yeah.
Sorry.
There's not that sense in old GTA games. It was always starting from the bottom of the ladder and
Exactly.
like being obsessed with like material gain. Like so, GTA 4, it's the American dream, and like you start off in that shitty little apartment in Broker, and then it's like getting up to like getting to Algonquin, like getting a nice apartment. It's all very material, but as we see with Michael, he's already living up in the Awkward Hills, which is essentially Los Santos' take on Beverly Hills, and he's already rich and he's got a mansion, and so.
So you get a good contrast to it. Whereas before you started off, in gangs doing, almost meaningless stuff and working your way up. Now you'll probably get those similar tasks with, excuse me, Franklin, but you're able to switch up and do big stuff with all the the kingpins of Los Santos with Michael. I think that's gonna add a real sense of variation. Emma, are you excited about it?
I am actually. I wasn't at first because I didn't like the idea of the character switching, but I think now that I've heard a bit more about it, and from what I gathered from your feature, it's only at certain points it'll tell you when you need to switch.
Yeah, well, it does it for you. Like you might be switched by, you might start a cutscene as Franklin, and then during the duration of a cutscene, might naturally switch to Michael to carry out a task. It's done most of the time. You can do it yourself.
Yeah.
Anytime you're free roaming, you can do it yourself. But then in missions, it will sometimes do it for you. Like the mission I saw, which is all detailed in the magazine and on the website as well. It's like one that involves, it's called Blitzplay. It involves all 3 characters. And at the end of the mission, when you're having a shootout with the SWATs, you can switch between the 3. But the different parts of the mission, for instance, when you're driving a lorry to form a blockade in the roads, and then when you're ramming the lorry, you have to take control of Michael to create the blockade, and then you have to take control of Franklin because he's in the second lorry that you're ramming this van with for those parts of the mission. That's how it's structured, and you kind of trust Rockstar to be able to handle those things correctly and not make you feel like you're being forced into controlling a character you don't want to.
Well, that's the thing. I quite like the idea of having a bit of that structure, so that you know that for a certain bit you are in the right character for it. But no, I'm actually a lot more excited about it now. I'm really looking forward to having just like so much space to explore, and it sounds like there's quite a lot in terms of side activities, just ambling about sort of with 3 different characters. And I really like the idea of having already that access to the sort of higher bits with Michael and stuff. So yeah, I'm really.
Who's your favourite character so far?
Michael.
So far, who's your favourite character? Michael. Leon.
Yeah, I think Michael.
Anyone not going for Michael?
No.
Yeah, Michael.
Trevor looks like hilarious
he looks fun.
It looks fun, but he's not a sort of aspirational kind of character. You don't sort of look at Trevor and kind of go, I want to be that crazy mad.
What element of the game are you most excited about, Dave? You're the biggest fan here. What single element?
I just think it really reminds me of one of my favourite films ever, which is Heat.
Yeah.
There's been lots of I just love that idea of kind of playing a kind of epic kind of crime spree in downtown LA. We've already seen glimpses of the kind of truck heist in one of the last 3-way split trailers, which was really reminiscent of the opening robbery in Heat, and just even Michael himself kind of looks like De Niro in that film. He's got the same kind of charcoal suit, but I'm just really looking forward to it. I think the story will be excellent. I think hopefully Rockstar North have learned from Rockstar San Diego. I think San Diego and Red Dead told a really good story, especially in the last third act. So GTA's always been good at the incidental dialogue and scenes, and it's always been funny and well scripted, but I'm hoping this time they can actually tell a good overarching plot. So.
I should say one thing I was a little bit disappointed by was that they've obviously taken, like you say, some influences from Red Dead, but it is 2 different studios. Each character has a special ability. Joel touched on the fact they all have 9 different traits that you can level up. They also each have a special ability. So Franklin can slow down time when he's driving, to perform an intricate overtaking manoeuvre or a deft bit of cornering. Trevor can. What's Trevor's? Oh, Trevor can. He takes double. No, he takes double. He
deals double damage and takes half.
Yeah, exactly. And Michael's one is he can go
Max Payne, basically. Isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He can go Max Payne in shootout, so he can basically trigger bullet time, which to me seemed an obvious way to bring in one of my favourite features from Red Dead, which was the painting targets. And they haven't done that. It's just basically taken from Max Payne, and I think that's there's obviously a lot of things they have adopted from Red Dead, but that's the one I really wanted to be in there. Joel might disagree as a massive Red Dead
Maybe
fan.
it's something you can level up towards.
I think they were. The picture I got was that they definitely didn't want that in there.
Right. I like that. I'd have put that in there, to be honest.
It seemed quite an obvious thing.
I think it's all a little bit weird because it's adding a slightly gamey element to a series that has been quite not necessarily
True.
grounded in reality is probably the wrong
What
phrase.
you mean the specials and the?
But yeah, it's not like in GT4 Nico Bellic could like fly or something like
But
that.
they always
It's
messed
just-
around with things. I mean, in like GTA 3, you had like the weird little slowdown pills that
Yeah, that's
never
true in Rampages, yeah.
Yeah.
You could like literally punch men 15 feet in the air
Yeah.
you're in like some speed-induced
It's a little bit
drug
Saints Row, I
rampage.
guess.
Right, the big question to finish up on GTA: who thinks it's definitely coming to PS4?
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it will.
Who thinks it's coming to PS4 at launch?
No.
No.
I think
They
Yes,
stagger
well,
that
next
stuff
year.
out. Like they always
Who
say, we're not
thinks-
doing it on PC,
And
and, then it comes out on PC.
before anyone puts this on the internet and says that we've confirmed GTA for PS4, we're not. This is our opinions. Who thinks it will be out on PS4 by this time next year?
yes, I think it'll come
Yeah.
out next
okay.
summer.
release.
'Cause, if you look back at San Andreas, it was in the PS2 exclusive for about 6 months. It came out in like October,
I reckon sort of
and then
May-ish.
the
Yeah,
Xbox
May, June.
version came out in like June.
Yeah, it's telling they haven't revealed a PC version yet, but you'd think there's going to be one revealed at some stage.
They,
And
they
once they're
usually release the PC version like a year after the console
Yeah.
versions.
and you know the way that both Xbone and PS4 are being manufactured is that they are pretty much high-end gaming PCs. So you would think that
It does make it a little
It
bit
follows suit.
tricky because it's a big old game, and if you bought it and completed it on PS3, and then they went, it's coming to PS4 in 6 months, do you play it through again? I mean,
Yeah,
I know
it's true.
someone like Meeks
Yeah, I'm
definitely
the sort of
would,
madman that would.
but I wouldn't want to probably play it. I'll definitely play it, but I would probably rather wait. So whatever they do, I'd like them to at least confirm the
They
PS4
won't.
version before
think
the
they-
PS3 version comes out.
No,
I think they're like
definitely
spreading
will,
it out because it
definitely
helps their financials. Because
Of
then
course
they
it
have
does.
a
I don't
massive
care about their
release each year.
financials. I care about not having to play the same game twice.
But if you played it on PS3, you're not going to suddenly go, my experience of that game has been belittled because it now exists in another format.
Yeah, I will. No, it will, because I'll look at it and go, wow, look how much better it could have looked while I was playing through it.
Well, that would instantly degrade all your memories.
Yes, it will.
Really?
Yes.
So Joel, before you even get to thinking about E3, sorry about GTA, you have something. Oh, I've ruined the segue. There's something much more pressing for you next week because on Saturday, I believe you fly up to Los Angeles for your first experience of E3.
Yep.
Excited?
Yep. I'm quite excited.
So he was really gritting his teeth.
No, I am. It's weird. I vacillate massively between being really excited.
That's the first ever usage of vacillate on the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard Vaseline. I had to rewind my sort of memory. and-
Sometimes I'm really excited, and sometimes I'm basically dreading the whole thing. Yesterday I was really excited. This morning I've not been so excited. As far as E3s go, this is probably a good one to attend. Though.
Yeah,
It seems like
absolutely.
it's going to be a megaton one, and we've got on the Monday there's press conferences up the wazoo, and then on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's the things like I will actually get hands on with PS4, so that's really exciting. And there's every big game under the sun that we already know about, and I think by this time next week we'll know about a lot more because everyone will have had their press conferences. So I am excited. I'll be dead come the Friday.
Don't be dead,
probably.
just be like quite tired.
Temporarily dead.
Okay. So we will do our E3 predictions as is a OPM tradition very shortly. First, though, for this month's Robo Flame Wars question, we asked you guys what your predictions for the big show were, and here are your answers.
It's time for Robo Flame Wars.
Awkward scripted jokes that fall short of the mark.
The PlayStation 4 price will be announced.
No Crash Bandicoot. And the tears of those waiting for Crash Bandicoot.
At least 40% of current-gen games will be sequels.
A considerable lack of Last Guardian footage.
Shinji Hashimoto and Square Enix will fail to excite us.
That was a sad one to end.
Just keep making it say Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, sadly, I don't think there will be Crash Bandicoot. Maybe there will be a next-gen Crash Bandicoot.
There better not be.
I would love it if
I
there
think
was.
I think Naughty Dog have other priorities. Well, that is. I'm going to go first with my prediction and get it in ahead of you lot. I think Naughty Dog will announce a new Uncharted. Again, I'm not confirming this. That is my
you're
own
gonna say a new Crash
personal
Bandicoot.
opinion. I think it's the time to do it. I think, as you talked about, Xbone go first on the Monday, and I think Sony are going to need something blockbustery. I'd be shocked if they don't reveal a new Naughty Dog game, and I'd be even more shocked if that
Well,
game
two
isn't
teams now,
Uncharted
aren't they?
4.
So the other team.
I
is-
think they have to. Also, the timing sort of works because it's about 4 days before, or actually in US, it's like a day before The Last of Us comes
Yeah.
out. So that otherwise, after that, they've got nothing.
Yeah, that's
so
a very
they
good point.
need to tell us what they're doing.
Well
basically.
spotted.
It'll be a teaser, and it'll be something you won't know what it is. It'll be like a trailer, and you'll be, oh, what's this? And then you'll just see like Nate like turn around and wink or something, and
Yeah,
then that'll be
yeah,
it.
probably. But that'll be enough.
Leon, your prediction?
I'm going to go with Soul Reaver, which I seem to bring up every now and
Oh,
then.
Leon.
That is never
But
happening.
they have been registering domains. I forget what it is now. That somebody found Crystal
You have been
Dynamics.
registering domains.
No, Crystal Dynamics have.
LeonHartSoulReaver.com.
If they see them enough, they might.
I forgot. I've
make
totally
it.
gone blank now what it was, but there's somebody uncovered like a web domain or a CV or something that links to Soul Reaver, and it looks like Crystal Dynamics might be bringing it back. So
Yeah,
I'm sure that's exactly
I'm
the
just-
same you've given for the
I'm gonna
last
say
two
every-
E3s and Gamescom.
And the
yeah, but
league-
even a stopped clock is right twice a day.
The lead character will be a cat in a hood. Joel?
I think we're going to see again a tiny teasy flash of ankle from Quantic Dream of whatever their post Beyond game is.
What was the thing?
So they're
trademark they registered?
Singularity.
Singularity, yeah.
So whatever their PS4 thing is, I'm going for that.
Didn't he say they hadn't started it yet? Like, cause they're only a one team.
No, he said they've already got.
No,
they
he said
already know what
he
they're gonna be
already has
doing.
his like in his
Yeah.
head. He's
So I think
imagined it
that'll
all.
translate to like a 5-second teaser of I don't know someone.
It'll
shouting,
be like he always does.
"Jason,"
It'll
and
be
then-
something completely unrelated. It'll be like the girl in the kitchen and then Valerie
Yeah.
carried a robot. It'd just be
Yeah,
like just a,
something like that. Whatever they're doing on PS4.
Pretension, the new fragrance by David Cage.
Is that your prediction?
Yeah.
Any other predictions apart from Uncharted?
I'm almost certain that David Hayter, contrary to all Kojima's misdirection, will be confirmed as the voice of Snake.
Really?
on
If
the
well, he's
6th
been
of
tweeting
June.
about. I mean, if they do, at what point is the gaming industry as a whole going to turn around to Kojima and just go stop
I think this is the point.
stop it?
Yeah,
just
this-
yeah.
Because this serves no purpose. The other thing I got, it was actually quite a clever. I mean, I know some people didn't like it. It was quite a clever marketing ploy, and it did have everyone up in arms. This time, all they've done is gone. David Hayter is not playing Solid Snake, and now they've gone. Oh, he is. That's
Yeah.
all they've done. It's a flat out lie. It serves no purpose at all.
He's becoming, this is a wrestling joke, sorry, he's becoming the Vince Russo of the games industry.
Yeah,
Swerve, then double swerve.
Yeah, you're going to have to explain that.
I take too long.
Look, that's what Wikipedia's for, Leon. Emma Davis.
I think Media
Davies.
Molecules.
Davies.
New.
I predict Emma will use E3 to learn how to pronounce her surname correctly.
Will not
That's
rise
never
to the
gonna
bait.
happen.
I will not rise to the bait. No, I think new Media Molecule title will be unveiled.
Okay.
Probably win over hearts and minds.
That's a really
Apart
good...
from Meeks,
Leon,
he'll go
let's...
ranty.
In fact, both of you, what do you think they're working on?
Well, I'm not sure if I
And
can.
again, I'm going to be honest and say we have no prior knowledge of this.
Well, I have. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say anything because I bumped into him.
Well, tell us or you can't leave the room.
Well, I bumped into Mark Healy on the way back from the PS4
Stringfellows,
meeting because I had this weird thing where every time I sort of turned around when I went out to the PS4 meeting in New York, Mark Healy was just sort of there. He was like in front of me at the event. He
Is
was
he stalking you, Leon?
no, he was always just in front of me, and he was in front of me at the check-in
He
desk,
wants
and
to know
then
more
he was
about
in
your
front of
Soul
me.
Reaver game you're making.
That's what they're
What's
doing.
your
They're teaming
idea?
up with Leon.
But the impression, I won't say what he said, but the impression I got was that what they showed off at sort of the PS4 meeting was a toy. It was sort of, they were still sort of messing around with it. They hadn't really sort of solidified any kind of firm ideas with what to do with it. They were just sort of experimenting with the tech rather than having another project.
I think referring back to the Robo Flame Wars, I think we will probably know the price and the release date, which obviously...
And what it looks like.
yeah, the box.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think you'll see the box.
I don't know about the price. I'm not sure. I think we're obviously we know we're going to see the box. I wouldn't be that surprised if they didn't tell us the price.
They'll tell us the price in like American money, and then they won't
And
tell
then
us
it'll be
the...
Tell us in-
they'll
tell
just
us
they'll
in
knock the
shekels.
dollar
The
sign off and put a pound
yeah,
sign
the
on.
£50 markup that we'll have
How
in the
many new games do you think we'll see at the Sony press conference?
UK. 4.
6.
5.
10.
I reckon like 11.
Are you
or
counting
so.
like little indie games?
Yep.
Oh,
wow.
God, no, yeah, they're going huge on indie. There'll be
Everything.
loads of indie.
Yeah.
They'll have an indie reel that will be
18.
as big as like
17.
Oh, you're cheating.
Because
House.
it's interesting because
10 million games.
the Xbox press conference
Infinity
is
games.
promising 15 new games, so they've got to kind of compete with those certain
I think
numbers.
there'll be a
so-
lot. It's 2
Yeah,
hours
but
long.
with their 15 new
I think
games, they're going
15
like
new
FIFA.
IPs.
Oh, right, no, they're like FIFA 14,
No,
Call of
no,
Duty
like
Ghosts.
15 like, new
Right.
IPs.
I reckon there's going to be a lot of new games.
It's really exciting.
It is really
I'm really
exciting.
excited.
I think the indie stuff's going to be the real kind of kicker for this because it is going to be like we were talking about before, like just going to be loads of cheap, interesting, creative games, and suddenly everyone's going to have competition from unusual ideas and sort of creations.
Yeah, absolutely.
So naturally, we'll have lots of coverage in the mag. That's out in early July. But long before that, throughout the show, we will have masses and masses and massives of E3 coverage and
You
footage.
can follow my breakdown live on the
Yeah,
internet.
Yeah, on
Live
our website, officialplaystationmagazine.co.uk, and also on our YouTube channel, Leon, which is...
Official PS Mag.
So, yeah, please do stay tuned throughout next week. We will have lots and lots of treats in store. It's time. Drum roll, please. That was not
That
an
is
excited
awful
drum roll. That was
drum
poor. It is time for your reader letters, and they will be... Our answers will be way more exciting than that drum roll was, I promise. And I'll be able to speak properly in a minute. Question 1, at Ward Liam on Twitter asks, what game would you most like to see on the PS Vita? Emma.
Well, now I feel under a lot of pressure to make this an exciting answer.
If it's Dark Summit, you have to leave the podcast.
I'm going to give you your answer a drum roll.
Ooh. Hadn't thought of that, but yes, I'd like Dark Summit. No, I'm actually quite excited for Tearaway, so I think more really creative, cute stuff like that would be nice. But I'd also, just on a personal level, I'd really like something like The Sims.
Okay.
Like that you could...
That would be quite good.
Because you could you had it on the go with you, dip in and out, and it's the kind of thing that you can do bite-sized little bits of without it having to be sort of small levels.
Mm-hmm.
But equally, you could have an extended play session because it's just quite a seamless thing. It's not split up. So you could sort of, play as you wanted to.
It'd be lovely if they could do like cross-play and cross-controls. You could sort
Yeah.
of come home and then see it all on a big screen, but still use the touchpad to just sort of move them around. And
Well, I mean, I think it's good that Terraria apparently is coming to Vita. I think that's something that could be, work really well. But yeah, I just want something even more life-swallowing than that. The Sims on the go, please.
Leon?
Actually, it's a game I've been playing on iOS that I'd love to see made more of, which is Star Command. It's like a kind of like a cross between sort of Tiny Towers and Star Trek, and you have to like manage a starship.
Is that one you
and-
keep recommending to me?
Well, I was recommending it loads until it finished after 5 hours. It's so short.
Really?
Yeah, like disappointingly so. Weirdly, most of the reviews I've read don't seem to have played it long enough to realise it ends like in an afternoon. But I think if something like that was made kind of a bit bigger and a bit sort of more comprehensive, then I'd love that kind of little micromanagement Star Trek-y kind of thing. You know, you got little red jerseys, you send them off to die. It's great.
John?
I want full-blown Football Manager, as in not the handheld version.
Sounds like an unpleasant disease.
Full-on. The PC.
Well, it is an unpleasant
The
disease.
PC version, yeah.
Could they pare it down to that level?
Well, if they compare everything down to remote play, if we're going to be able to play Killzone Shadowfall on our Vitas, which apparently we are, then surely we can play Football Manager. Surely.
This is going to show what a pathetic, sad little man I am. But thanks for laughing, Dave. But the one thing I miss most from Football Manager handheld is the squad numbers. Like, I love that. I love having that level of detail, and they don't have them on the.
Do they not have them on that? I see. I didn't play.
I
it
always
very
love
much.
in my head, like kind of when a new player comes in,
Yeah.
giving him like the
Yeah.
number 9 and being like, "You're my."
But yeah,
centre
for me,
forward,
the
sunshine, you're
handheld version is so pared down. There's no point in playing it, so it's full fat or nothing really.
David?
Proper Metal Gear. So not
Again,
like,
could
not,
that pare
not
down
in
to-
HD. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean the
I guess, of course, the early one.
Peace Walker was arguably the best game in PSP. So
My vote, as ever, goes to Sensible Soccer, and I'm going to actually add some reasoning to it. I've interviewed for a football feature for a different magazine entirely. A guy called John Hare, who's the man who created Sensible Soccer and Cannon Fodder and a load of other brilliant early 90s games.
Love Cannon Fodder.
And I said to him, why have you not made a handheld version of Sensible Soccer? And he said, I'd love to do it, but Codemasters own the rights. And it astounds me that Cody's, I love them as a studio, and I think they make a lot of great racing games, but they've obviously made the switch now to only doing racers, and yet they have all these rights to games like Dizzy and Sensible Soccer that they could be making 69p versions of and getting them not only on Vita but also iOS, etc. It amazes me they're not doing it, because if you look at like a company like EA obviously released a load of big AAA titles, but their most successful, not necessarily the most successful games in terms of all the money they bring in.
It's Fuse.
But
no, it's not Fuse.
but like the most successful games on the, if you look at the highest grossing on the Apple Store, most of them are EA games like Simpsons Tapped Out, and it amazes me that more that Cody's haven't looked into doing that with these games they have. I don't know how much it would cost to bring these games out, but I think a 69p Sensible Soccer on not only Vita but also iOS devices, etc., would sell really well to people of my age and generation who grew up loving that game, and I think would love to play it again.
Well, they did do a Dizzy on mobile, didn't they? I'm guessing that didn't do well enough.
I guess so. I guess I'm wishing and dreaming. Question 2, @Ball was called in on Twitter asks, Can you explain why I won't be able to play the hundreds of pounds worth of PSN games I have bought on the PS4?
Well, firstly, hundreds of pounds?
A lot of PSN games.
That's a lot of PSN games, yeah.
Maybe he buys all his games on PSN, like Infamous.
If, yeah, like that 59.
That would take like what, 2
yeah.
games to get to hundreds of pounds.
Yeah. Well, firstly, you may. The reason you can't is because obviously the architecture is completely different. The cell was built on 6 SPUs, and the way it moves data around is completely different to the AMD architecture, which is a single unified chip. So it would be like saying,
saying words?
Why can't I run my Spectrum cassettes on my Apple iPad? You know
Why can't I, Leon, in this day and age?
Surely if I need the SKU's not right.
But that's the sort of essentially what you're asking. But it doesn't necessarily mean you can't. You might not be able to play your old games, because when I interviewed Michael Denny a while back, he said, and I quote, "The PlayStation 4 won't play PlayStation 3 games natively, though through Gakkai there's a possibility of having access in the future to back catalogue products and hopefully all PlayStation previous formats." So he's alluded to the idea that you may be. While you may not be able to carry over because obviously you can't carry over your hard drive, and they sort of suggested that whatever replaces the PSN might not be the PSN, so it might not be literally any way of getting your old games over. They might exist in some way through cloud streaming, and then obviously it'll be somehow in your account. Maybe it'll go, oh yeah, you did buy Infamous on a download because you're a madman, but here it is on streaming, and now you can enjoy it on PS4.
That seems to be the idea, doesn't it? That that's going to be the case with not only with PSN, PS3, PS2, PS1. Hopefully, that we'll be able to play all.
Gakkai has been mentioned several times in the context of backwards compatibility and getting old tech games running on new tech.
Also, I know it's like a minor annoyance, but no one's going to come and confiscate your console the second you buy PS4.
I was just thinking that, because I could understand it with the leap between, say, PS2 and PS3, because we're switching TV technology, which is the big thing. So you're going from CRT to flat screen. So you're no longer using SCART cables, using HDMI leads. But now we're not going to change TV technology. PS4 will have HDMI leads. So there's really no reason, unless you're skint and need to save up for PS4, sell your PS3.
Exactly.
Just break out the attic whenever you want to play Journey.
Question 3. Ryan Troth on Facebook asks, who would win an arm wrestle between Leon and Ben?
Should we just do the arm wrestle?
No, I concede. Leon, I tell you, I know Leon would win because
I wouldn't win
because of the Master Lock Challenge. Because I once did the Master Lock Challenge on Leon. So this involves there used to be a wrestler called Chris Masters in WWE in the early 2000s.
The Masterpiece.
The Masterpiece, indeed. And his finishing hold was a full Nelson, which is when you slide your hands up behind someone's head and basically try and pretend you're going to tear it off via the neck. I don't know where else you'd tear a head off from, but anyway. The knee, yeah. And we went for a stage. A guy called Joel Snape used to work here, and he was really into fighting in MMA, and he went for a stage of doing the Master Lock Challenge on people, and it became like a thing we did at parties, weirdly.
Yeah, it's always a really good idea after several drinks.
Yeah, so we went to a party at Kim Richards, our usual podcast producer's house. She's not producing this one, but she normally does. And we were all doing the Master Lock Challenge one another, which sounds incredibly camp and probably looked incredibly camp as well.
We broke a couple of things, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, this is what
like
you've ruined
women
the
in
podcast
love
now, Leon.
Oh, right.
And so basically, I'm a bigger man than Leon in physical terms, anyway. And I put the Master Lock on Leon and thought, there's no way he can break this. And just in terms of me being taller than him and being able to clamp down on his neck, I basically knew there was no way he could just power out of it. So what he did quite cleverly was he actually backed me onto his back, and then flipped me over. And Kim had been taking delivery that day. Have you never heard this story, Emma?
No.
Kim had taken delivery that day of like a crate of treats from her mum for this party, and he flipped me over, and I went through this crate. It was honestly like a WWE hardcore match. And obviously in doing that, because he flipped me over, he won the challenge. So having seen the lengths he'll go to win the Master Lock Challenge, literally throwing me into crates of goodies, I will concede and say that he would win the arm wrestle.
And he does have big, strong arms.
He does also have big, strong arms.
To hold you tenderly.
We had a slightly pissed arm wrestler.
I was going to say, who won that time?
Leon looks really modestly like that he's not accepting this result.
Well, no, I'm fine. I would have thought you got your. Like you say, you're a bigger man, so I would have thought you would have just basically just leant over to one side, and my arm would just go boom.
Did you say you two have arm wrestled before?
We were asked to, yeah.
Asked?
Yeah, I saw this.
Where were you? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was that.
Yeah.
I was in the court that time.
Who won?
I did.
Yeah, I'm not an arm. I don't think I've ever won an arm wrestle.
Leon Leon.
Liam.
I want to change my
Oh,
answer to
Liam.
Ben,
I
then
thought
didn't
Leon-
listen to
Whatever
one
you-
arm
what-
I
wrestle.
thought Leon had won. That's why I would have
No,
betted on.
I think usually
Leon
usually what happens is I sort of can hold like the position and lock it for ages, but then I can't push it over, so it just ends up being a stalemate for like 2 painful minutes, and then I
I
lose.
think we should just do it. Let's just clear the
Dave, what are you changing your answer to?
You, because I didn't realise he was so rubbish at arm wrestling.
Yeah, I'm backing Ben now.
Question 4. At Higgy_baby on Twitter asks, are you excited about the return? Oh, the tone of my voice gives it away. Are you excited about the return of Guilty Gear? Dave?
Is that
That sounds like a porn magazine.
that's the 2D beat 'em up, isn't
Yeah, I
it?
did do some actual journalism.
It's real. Leon, it's like when you insulted Mega Man and the internet basically cursed you.
I didn't
eternally.
insult it. I reviewed it in the context of this is a 10-year-old game and it plays like
Did
it.
anyone know Guilty Gear was coming back until we got this
No.
question?
Is it coming back?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
coming
does-
back. They're doing a version, and I barely know how to pronounce this. It's Guilty Gear X and then RD, like you'd write RDs in third.
I'm almost
and then
annoyed now
sign.
that we've already sourced the cover for this issue.
But in fairness, I watched a 90-second trailer of it this morning. I'm not exactly a fan of Japanese 2D beat 'em ups, but the engine looks lovely. It's using the Unreal Engine, and it doesn't use sprites anymore, so it's actually.
But if they go
very
like the
stylized,
Street
like
Fighter 4 kind
polygonal
of
models.
routes, then
it
yeah.
looks. The action looks lovely, and it involves someone called Soul Bad Guy.
Soul
Soul-
Bad Guy?
Who's a man, yeah, like bad guy. He's a bad guy.
Okay.
That's his
Like
surname.
Saul Goodman in
Yeah.
Breaking Bad
Yeah.
is this Saul Bad Guy.
I had a similar
That'd be an
experience.
amazing
Leon-
beat 'em up game. Just
Yeah.
pop up Better Call Saul.
Talking about 2D fighters, I had a similar experience to Leon. Obviously, Mega Man isn't, but Leon got pilloried by the internet for giving Mega Man a 5 back in the
He
PS2
still
days.
can't shoot
I had a
diagonally.
similar thing for giving the King of Fighters 29 or 37 or something like a. I think I gave it like a 7, and I had people writing and going, "You don't understand it."
I think that happened
We had that last year.
Yeah,
with
last year
Phil.
with the latest
King
one.
of Fighters 13. Okay, he gave it a 5, and he got more abuse than he's ever got for
Yeah.
anything else based on that.
It was a
So-
the
apart from giving
comments
away
thread
those
was
Japanese
huge.
books.
Just a bunch of people
Yeah.
just going, "You clearly haven't understood this
I
game."
remember I had
or-
a similar thing with Doom 3, which is terrible by days.
Yeah,
I was
should
astounded.
stand
Like,
that.
I remember liking it at the time. Went back to play it, and it almost
It
became
aged
like
awfully. It was incredible.
it's like when you watch a really bad film and you end up watching it because it's a really bad film, and that was what playing Doom 3 was like.
All right, question 5, and Joel gets to answer this before Leon and Meeksy respond. So no cutting in.
Dubs
Don't I get an
Dubs
answer?
solves it as well.
You can answer as well. I just thought they would
Let's
be
have the
more.
question first.
I don't
Oh, the
see how you can
build-up.
compare the two.
Let's ask the question. Billy Degg on Facebook asks, "Is Dark Souls better than Skyrim?" Joel.
No.
Yes, but this is a very difficult question because no one in this room has played both of them.
I have.
Not properly. You haven't played Dark Souls properly until you've got like at least 30 hours into it.
Yeah, I've only
Which
done
is
about-
probably
I've done
true
about-
of Skyrim
I've
as
done
well.
about 13.
Leon, arm wrestle him in revenge.
Yeah.
But I just don't see the comparison. It'd be a bit like saying which is
No, they're
which
very-
is better out of Grid 2 or The Last of Us. It's like,
Last
but they
of Us.
don't. Yeah, but they're
I'm
sort
still
of complete,
answering.
they're completely different.
They are.
They're not
That's
looking
an
for the.
exaggeration.
I think for the purposes, if a man's saying I've got £40 and I need to choose between 2 games, it's like the Hall of Fame.
And they are quite similar. They're big, open, fancy games with a lot of hack and slash sword
It's
combat.
incredibly difficult because Dark Souls only appeals to a certain type of person who really knows what they're going in for. If you wanted something that was like playable as a casual-ish gamer and you got recommended Dark Souls, you'd be furious. What I will say is that Dark Souls is, I think, probably the third best game of this console generation in my mind. So I would definitely say it's better than almost anything else.
What? The top 2, Red Dead and...
Red Dead and Infinite for me.
I gotta go back and play Red Dead.
But so I mean, I think anyone who completes Dark Souls gets to that weird state of being where you're just.
It's
obsessed
interesting
with
because I
it.
wouldn't say either are at all accessible. I wouldn't say Skyrim's any more accessible because you've got to put in at least 30 hours to Skyrim before you even
But
start
it's more.
breaking the
It's
surface
less
on it.
frustrating. That's for sure.
Yeah, the minute-to-minute combat.
But Dark Souls is a very specific kind of design philosophy that runs through it, and that is because it's not difficult. It's you have to know.
It's difficult.
It's difficult, but it's because you go into it going, "I'll play it like a normal game,"
Yeah,
and it doesn't
that's what I mean.
work
If you
like that.
if you know what you're signing up for and you're willing to stick with it, it's incredible. But if you're not happy with that premise at all, then run away from it.
Emma, you were very keen to get your viewpoint across.
Oh, I was just going to say Skyrim.
Yeah, that's what I mean. No one here has like really played to a sufficient extent both of them. So
I haven't played Dark Souls, but does it have just the sheer variety of stuff to do that Skyrim does?
No.
I mean, yeah,
No.
that's the thing.
No, it
Skyrim
doesn't
you
have
can
that.
do like anything.
but it's also got it's got like a more I've played almost none of Skyrim. It's probably got a more compelling, like, ethos to it, and it's a more of a like it's an adventure in as much as playing the game itself is an adventure for you, the player, because it's a journey into completely unknown at all times.
I mean, I played them both. I think they're both excellent, but I'd struggle to find any way of linking the two in terms of recommendation. Like, if you like Dark Souls, or you got to play Skyrim, or vice versa.
But
it doesn't
Dark
work.
Souls is hard because it's like if you like Dark Souls, you've got to replay Dark Souls basically. That's all you've got. Yeah, exactly.
All right, final question. And we've obviously talked a lot about the PS4 games we do want and the E3 predictions we do think will happen. Which PS3 series would you least like to see on PS4? As in, which do you want to see go bye-bye right now? Dave?
This sounds so controversial, Gran Turismo.
Why?
I just think it's so sterile. I think racers have moved on so much in the years that... I mean, I love GT3, but I think it's just... There's nothing reactionary about it now. The AI is just... You're still essentially racing dodgems, so I think Cody's have really kind of surpassed Polyphony Digital in making compelling racing games.
It's a good job Phil isn't here, because he'd have leaped across the desk at you with his claws out.
Emma?
I couldn't think of any one series that I felt so strongly against that I wanted it to die, because there's always the option of just not playing it, you know.
So nice.
I know. But generally, I'd just like to see more new IPs rather than sequels. I'd love it if the sort of balance of things on PS4 was just like mainly
Wouldn't it be
new
great
IPs.
if like every new console generation they just went, right, you can't make any sequels.
That'd be pretty good.
You just have to make new
the rule.
IPs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but no,
that'd be
some of my favourite things on PS3 have been sort of new IPs or whatever, so yeah, I'd rather just more new stuff.
Oh, I had a better answer. But it's
No,
even, it's even
hang
more
on, no,
controversial.
let's keep going, because I got a good answer, I think.
This sounds like madness. Uncharted. I adore all three Uncharted games, but it's only because I've seen Naughty Dog just create this incredible new IP in this amazing new world, and it almost seems a shame just them to keep going back to that one world when they're obviously so talented as story makers.
I nearly said Uncharted, but then I thought to myself, do I want to see another Uncharted game on PS4? And the answer was yes. However, my answer is BioShock, because I don't want to see another BioShock game ever again. What I want to see is Ken Levine make something completely different. I think Infinite's like one of my favourite games ever, but I think it brings the BioShock trilogy to the absolute perfect close and like a brilliant climax. I just don't think you can do better with that series. So I really would like him to just make something completely new and equally incredible.
I mean, he's been refining the same sort of mechanics, like System Shock, BioShock, and Infinite. It's basically been essentially the same kind of template, and you sort of and I think like, you can't refine it anymore.
I think it's been so well refined now that so I think BioShock for me.
Leon?
I was just
Soul Reaver. Oh no, wait.
I was going to say FIFA, just because any opportunity not to talk about football for 5 minutes is to be embraced.
Yeah, are definitely going to stop making that game that outsells every other game 20-1 every year.
I'm going to say Saints Row. Just, I don't know.
The new one's quite good.
No more
Yeah,
I
I will give the new one a try, but it just feels like that series has been flagging for a long time to me.
For me, it doesn't offer anything particularly.
Exactly, yeah.
After 2 hours, you've gone, yeah, this is all right, and the missions are just...
I wouldn't mind seeing them take a new crack at an open world game if need be. I just think that series... It just really feels like they just churn them out these days.
Yeah.
In the defence of Saints Row 4, it does feel a lot different. Like, I had no interest in 2 or 3, and this one appeals to me. Just the best way to think about it is it's essentially a superhero game. So, and quite a fun one at that. So,
good. All right, I will give it a try and see. That is it for this month. We'll be back in late June to see who was right and who was shite with those E3 predictions. In the meantime, you can keep up with the team on Twitter at OPM_UK, Facebook at facebook.com/official PlayStation Magazine, or on the internet at officialplaystationmagazine.co.uk. Don't forget to stay tuned next week for all our E3 coverage. Today's producer was Don't Tell My J, my Jimmy J. I just don't think he understands Jarvis. And issue 85 is out now with 4 collectible covers. Until next time, keep it official.